Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Máyégún dá wa sí. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Bó bá ṣe àní Máyégún máa wí.
Thank you very much for joining me. Good afternoon to you, good morning to you, good evening to you from wherever you're watching from. And yes, this is Máyégún Live.
Máyégún diary politico. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Máyégún diary. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ ṣẹ́ o kẹ́kọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́nu. Àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Máyégún diary. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Thank you very much.
Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Thank you. I bet some of you have been following this development, the killing, or let me say the disappearance as well as the killing of Oluwabamise. Let me check her surname again. Yeah, Oluwabamise Ayanwole. Good. I don't know if you have been following that. If you haven't, I'll tell you. First, you see this young woman on your screen. Her name is Oluwabamise Ayanwole. She lives in Lagos. She worked as a fashion designer somewhere in Nigeria on the 26th of February. That's about 9 days ago. It was a weekend. So she boarded a public bus, a government-owned bus, BRT, from that Aja to Oshodi because she was going to Ota, where she normally spent a weekend with her sister. So she boarded the bus around 7 p.m. to alight somewhere around the Chevron bus stop in Oshodi, as the record showed. But she never made it to Ota that night. So an Amber Alert was raised for everyone who probably could give them any hint of whereabouts. Nobody could. But before she disappeared, yes, before she disappeared, she decided to leave some clues that eventually led to the arrest of this man, who is the BRT driver, the public bus, Lagos State government owned public bus. This guy. Now, when she boarded the bus, it was not so late in the night, 7 p.m. She happened to be the only female on the bus, a very big one. Then she started feeling like something is wrong. Something was wrong, right? So what did she do? She started recording a video to send to her friend. And at the same time, telling her friend, please don't share this video. It's just because I'm not feeling comfortable in this bus. Don't share it, so that if nothing happened to me, everybody will just be laughing at me. Please don't share it. But that was the video that eventually led to the arrest of our killers. Now, here is that clip that she sent to her friend raising an alarm. Normally, at that point, maybe calling me. I'm still coming to that part, but this is the clue she left.
Orí driver yẹn ló ń wúlò títí rí orúkọ bóyá nọ́mbà BRT yẹn nílé mi lò ṣáà máa fàdúrà ẹ̀sìn wọlé ọkọ mi ò balẹ̀ má sọ fẹ́ níbodì tó ní mo mọ̀ sí ìlú masáré lọ fún yọ bá ti rí wọ́n máa fi ṣe mí ṣe yẹ̀yẹ́ tí kòkó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣe ààrẹ o.
Oluwabamise. She was recording and at the same time asking her friend, please don't tell anybody, don't show anybody, because if nothing happened to me now, they will just be laughing at me. But if you need any clue anyway, yeah, that's the head of the driver there. Then you can also see his ID. That's it over there. She did all that. That was the last thing. That was the last message before she was brutally murdered. Now, here is the irony of it. They did all of that killing on the bus, inside the bus. And for 8-9 days, they actually took the bus. I don't know how they did that, yeah? Because the bus is back at their station. And the way the family, the mother of Oluwabamise, when she went there, they finally found her, they found her inside the bus with her private parts, her vagina missing. Yes. So, because Oluwabamise left clues, if anything happened to her, these are the people you should hold responsible. Government hired drivers in Lagos, the mega shitty. Now, this normally wouldn't be a biggie, because you know what? It is a normal thing in Lagos. It is a normal thing in southern Nigeria. People go missing, then they found their body somewhere. They have used this one. You know, the ritualists, all these ritualists. Since I was a kid, I've been hearing about ritualists, kidnapping, taking, and the rest of that, right? What I have actually not really experienced is that for a government, an establishment, government, that will do diligent background check on every employee, Abi, normally, in this country, if I have to say, then employed a killer that was bold enough to kill somebody on BRT. And who knows, that is not the first time. It probably is not the first time. And probably it's not the only boss. How many of you have lost your family members, relatives, friends in Lagos State in the last 10 years alone? They left work or they wanted to go and see somebody and you never see them again. They entered normally in Lagos, they have something called one chance. So one chance is when you will see all these buses, sometimes unmarked, sometimes, most times they are like normal downfall buses. They will stop to take passengers. And when you get in, you are likely going to be the only passenger getting in. The rest of them are the crew. Now, people know about this, that they just feel like, except they capture them and kind of, give them the jungle justice. They know that this exists. They know this happen all the time. But on a government-owned bus, aha! It is just the textbook definition of what Nigeria can do to you in a different way. But because you have learned to adapt, to adjust, to avoid, to pretend, and then use your vibes and inshallah and blood of Jesus. That's all you have. You know you are endangered. And you are only waiting for if it's going to happen to you now or it's going to happen to somebody you know. When they found her on that bus, her private part was gone. Kidnappers, ritualists. I know people have been saying a lot too. People have been saying, they are like for politicians and all of that. And in the next 24 hours or 48 hours, everybody's going to you're going to hear another shocking news. And they're going to forget about this. How many of you still remember Tolulokwe Arotile? That pilot girl, that they said was one of those, the best they have in their Nigerian Air Force. Do you remember the circumstances around her death? The story after that? How many other shocking ones have you heard after that? That many of you have even put that in the dustbin of history as usual. That is what Nigeria does to you. It is turn by turn Nigeria Limited. Rotten system is a danger to those who actually worship or protect it. That is what Nigeria is. I'm glad that they found the guy. And then maybe they found other culprits. But that's it. Until the next one. BRT. The audacity. You would expect that BRT will have, what do you call it, inner CCTV and all of that. And then you know that if you commit a crime on that, your government have, but go into the recruitment as well. Go into the scheme of that BRT as well. You remember when they attacked the NSAS protesters at Alausa in October 2020? Remember? And the attackers, they were brought in a BRT bus, which the driver denied that they hijacked. Other people, they say, they hijacked, but we saw it on camera as the driver brought them to that Alausa, gong, and they parked, and they jumped out, and they attacked the protesters. So when you begin to look into the scheme, you are looking at something bigger. But because you don't investigate, you just probably put everything. At the end of the day, they will offer some people money. They will use the media to blah, blah. They will set up inquiry, blah, 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 blah. Story end. Throw somebody on the floor, under the bus. What about other things they do? I remember telling somebody, I said, look around you. Every time you will see people kidnapped, murdered, their body parts, stolen or cut off and all that. And then the people automatically just agree that, it's ritual. They are for ritual killings. Right? Which has also somehow, it's increased so far as well. Where we have now been seeing people with a human head and all that, but it's beyond that. We have been told that the level of disappearances of people, children, and all that in areas where you are not even like witnessing war, like most northeast, northwest, and north central of northern Nigeria. They said human organ harvesting. All they need to do is just get any living person. Those who are doing that some of you consider as ritualists. They said this ring of this ring of dark world is making a hell of a kill in Nigeria. But because you don't have any system that is reliable enough to actually even verify this, confirm it, and prevent it. So it's just vibes, and inshallah, until it becomes your turn. People are missing, their organs are being harvested, all right? And the horrible thing is that most of those who you see, who you have reported missing, you didn't see them again. The ritualists have taken them right before you, right under your noses, right there in Lagos, right there. They are kidnapping people. They are they are harvesting their organs alive. Now they found Oluwabamise. A private part was gone. I don't know what that is meant for, other than to just conclude that, oh, it will be for ritual. What about other things they took from her? They operated on her, they butchered her inside the BRT bus. And guess what? The bus is back at their station, possibly cleared, or something like that. It's back. It's not even back to the police station where they can say, or left at the scene where they found it as a crime scene, wherever else but they will mess it up. That's what they do. Until you become the next one. And guess what, oh? This matter of people disappearing, and you call them ritual killings and all of those stuff, and which normally in this country, here in the UK, if the level of missing people in Nigeria is, if half of that is happening in the UK, half the budget. Here in the UK, if you go into the list of missing persons and all that, yeah, including people who have been missing for the past 30 years, 40 years, when you go into their data, you find them there. They are still looking for them until they confirm that they are no more. There are many, many people that have, there are people that are actually have spoken to myself while growing up. And there are many, many of you who are watching me right now who are familiar with stories like that. Where your people have gone missing and you've considered, since you've never found anybody, or if you didn't see anybody's, right? What happened? You concluded that they have been used for rituals, right? What do you want? Sorry, one sec. Right. Sorry about that. People missing, crimes being committed, politicians themselves, by the way, which we have witnessed too, but that is another thing. But in this country, they are never going to say, oh, that person got kidnapped, or he was used for ritual. You will never find those who use that for ritual. You will never see them, because in Nigeria, the people that use this, those who actually use it who pretend to use people for ritual, as they say, for power, for all of them, they are also those who actually give power, or pretended to be giving spiritual powers to the same politicians who are supposed to end such. Now, that is the situation you find yourself in Nigeria. Everybody is waiting for his own turn to be victim, or hoping that they would never be victim like that. And this is just turn by turn. Nigeria Limited. This whole thing right now, everybody's going to conclude that, well, maybe it's just a ritual. They use that for ritual. No, they killed her. It's a murder. And everyone involved, including if they have their babalawo or mamalawo anywhere, or afa or pastor anywhere that is involved. You don't say, well, maybe I'm actually not going to be talking about their defense and all that. I'm going to talk more about some of you who don't have a clue of what the consequences of a rotten system, how much it can change your life and change it forever. You have a system where a police officer, remember him, Abba Kyari, or Taylor Pablo Escobar Kyari, right, was commissioned and being paid to go after kidnappers, go after all these violent criminals, armed robbers, name it. And if his path crossed with those of drug smugglers and the rest, it should not shield them. The reason why people like that are commissioned to do job like that is to prevent you, the normal citizens, from any harm or danger posed by those dangerous people. That's why they have to train, paid, and commission such people like Kyari. But what did you get? Abba Kyari then teamed up with the criminals. It didn't just allow them to flourish in their businesses of making your life hell. It was even cooperating with them by making you also disappear if you are going to be a problem in any of their criminal businesses. That is called prejudice. Is that what they call it? Prejudice. The system allowed it. And you know that kind of thing is what makes up Nigeria's system generally. But who is the victim? You. So for years, the likes of Abba Kyari and the rest, they use the instrument of the state to protect criminals. Somebody has been using this instrument of a Lagos state government to protect crime until now. You are never going to know. They're going to tell you this is a one-off. They're going to do everything to make your mind go away from it. Something else is going to happen until you become a victim. Maybe this time around, maybe not 1 or 2 or 3 persons will be killed. Maybe massive people will be gone. And guess what? It will receive the same treatment. It is this system. How many of you saw Kyari in court today? I think it was today, wasn't it? Yeah, the drug dealer. Yeah, it was. They brought him to court, and 6 others, I think. Other people that you saw in that courtroom there behind him, they are the Abba Pablo Escobar Kyari and his co-drug runners, who are also members of Nigeria Police Force. Do you understand the consequences of that? Lately, you have been seeing young people on different videos on social media displaying characters that can be described as schizophrenia, a serious mental disorder and all that in public. And the ignorant public in Nigeria, including some of you watching me right now, because some of you don't even know that you are ignorant. You have been psychologically, culturally programmed to think this way, which then puts a sort of stop to any logical thinking, and therefore you will never ever want to find out what really happened. But many of you have been seeing videos of all these young people, ladies. They'll say, oh, they dropped her in a car, and she start displaying mental kind of, you know what I mean? And they'll say, they have used this one, or it's a Yahoo Plus, so he wants to do Yahoo Plus, so that is why, it's a mad. Well, the bottom line is this. more than half of your young generation who are currently weathering the storm, the brutal, depressing storm of what Nigeria has become under APC, young people that are now exposed to unimaginable pressure, stress, that today you see young people telling you that they feel like killing themselves. And you'll be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why would you want to kill yourself? How old are you? What is life? You know what I mean? All these pressures and all these things exist within our different and immediate communities. And in this process, the likes of Abba, Pablo, Oshtelo, Escobar, Kiyari, that is supervising the distribution of hard drugs, ban class A drugs, and they make them easily available to these young people who ended up displaying all this madness. And they say it's Yahoo Plus. You don't see this thing. This person is something happened, they died. It's because he saw spirits, and that's it. Nobody have to do any autopsy on him. Nobody have to do any kind of check or what have you on them. He don't run mad. He don't run mad with that. By the time he gets well, they just treat him like that. You don't run mad because you wanted to be rich. There's no explanation, no? Of course not. And also, as the Nigeria of your Nigeria has become what it is, the likes of Abba or Stelo Kiyari, they were distributing drugs. Whether not just by himself, at least with the ring of drug dealers he knows, they were distributing class A drugs that have become so cheap and accessible by so many people who probably just want to get away from the depression of Nigeria, as they love to live in denial of it. Then you see them go in there. They say if you go to the northern part of Nigeria today, you will see young women who are now drug addicts. Who made that happen? Abba Kyari and other people that Abba Kyari know. That's my point. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When a system is rigged and corrupt and allow for criminals to now be the law, what do you call it, the law enforcers, what you will get is that a banana republic like this, and you will be the victim. Yes, you will always be the victims. That's the point. The system allows them to steal from you. The system allows them to protect themselves when they steal from you. The system says you can't do anything when they do whatever they do to you. It's the system, and I have a problem with that. I do. Before I become a victim myself, there are so many victims. Some of you are awaiting victims. Many of us are awaiting victims. And it is the system that allowed that. To make it better, there are alternatives. Alternatives. Yes, there are alternatives. The alternatives are just not really comfortable with those who forced you, who psychologically program you, all right, to accept this reality, because the other one is impossible. And you agree. I am telling you, there are alternatives. You see, you can get killed or kidnapped anywhere in Nigeria today. That is not normal. No, don't let anybody tell you that every country have their own security problems. When you begin to have a problem, listen, when the terrorists took over the Kaduna-Abuja Expressway, right, the politicians, they devised another means of transportation. They chose to be traveling by train. That was a straightforward one. No one will stop a train, a moving train. They abandoned the road. You